Hi everyone, today looking at the charts here on the hourly, you can see we had a pretty good day most of the day. We double topped here a little bit, pulled back on the Google news, and now we're catching just a smidgen of a bounce, came back to 599.64 as your support level. Let's see if we can find some levels in the charts and look for some direction in tomorrow's session.
Do me a quick favor and like and subscribe and watch the video till the end to help out the channel, and let's get started.
Definitely under the weather, but I'm doing my best here. So we got Alphabet dropping down as much as 9% after hours on soaring AI investments. They continue to spend unbelievable amounts of money, $75 billion on capital expenditures in 2025. Cloud revenue did go up slightly, but not as much as what Wall Street wanted to see. You can see just under 12, just over 12 was the expectation. You can see we did bounce a little bit down 7.75 now, so not so great. Revenues missed slightly. Earnings beat slightly. YouTube beating there a little bit. Cloud revenues, like I said, not great. Traffic acquisitions also not great. Revenues grew 12% year over year compared to 13% same quarter last year. So overall, just not growing as much as what the street wanted to see. And based on that, the stock is going down a little bit. Moving over to fear and greed, we actually stepped down pretty dramatically to a 39 from a 44, despite markets actually holding up pretty well during the session. Regular fear here on momentum, that's a step up. Strength, still not moving, still in extreme fear, still flatlining here over the last couple days. Breadth, also flattening out here, but in regular fear. Put call ratio elevating pretty dramatically here over the last couple days, interesting. Volatility also bouncing slightly, and then safe haven demand continuing to sit in fear. And then junk bond sitting in regular greed. I think we saw a spike down, and then this is kind of neutralized here now in a regular greed. So markets mixed at best. You can kind of pick your direction based on all these indicators. And then looking at the earnings calendar, you can see Alphabet missing there on the top line. You got Pepsi also missing on the top line. Interesting to see that. Estee Lauder still beating on the top and bottom, so people are still buying some discretionaries out there. Tomorrow you got Disney, Qualcomm, ARM. Definitely going to be watching ARM tomorrow after hours. And then for the Thursday, we finish up the Mag 7, at least for the ones that kind of report together there. We got Amazon after hours on Thursday. And then looking at the economic calendar, we got Jolt's job openings way lower than expectations at 7.6 million. Interesting to see the jobs market still pulling back. Previous number was revised up pretty substantially though, so that was fairly interesting. About a 500,000, nothing crazy there. And then for Wednesday, not a whole lot, just a little bit of economic data. Really, we don't get any economic data until the Friday with the unemployment data. Maybe we get a little bit of a move here from the ADP non-farms as a forecast for the actual non-farms, but I'm just not expecting a whole lot of movement out of this until we get the unemployment data on Friday. And then moving over to Max Payne just for a second, you can see we did flip bearish here across the board as we saw the rallies here today, so sideways choppy market makes sense. Every time we rally, we see Max Payne flip. We got the dip yesterday, Max Payne flip bullish, and then back here today, flip bearish. Then moving over to the chart, starting off with the S&Ps, we did finish up 0.67 on the day. Pretty decent rallies, but the after hours is what we're seeing, down about $1. We're catching a bounce now. You can see about 60 cents. We were right at the 5.99 level, so we'll see if that follows through in tomorrow's session. We got the break, retest hold. Want to see that continue. Looks okay now in the after hours. Definitely got the gap fill here today to that candle on the Friday session. Now it's going to be interesting, right? So you got that overhead resistance with the 9 EMA sitting there at 603.31. The level here is 603.25. If we hit that tomorrow and reject, that's going to be bad. If we can push through there, you can see some overhead resistance in here. If we can continue through those levels into 607, then we're going to be in great shape looking for higher highs. So definitely interesting. Still looks like sideways consolidation, but you have to play for the potential. And I do think there is some potential for upside as long as we can get through that 603 level. And then moving over to the Tasty charts here, you can see we held in the mid-range, rallied up, got through those levels, retested, want to see it continue up. Upper ATR band there is going to be 600, 603.73, so pretty much in line with those levels we just talked about, 603.80, somewhere in there. If we touch those levels and reject, it's going to be bad. But right now it seems like we're headed there at least. And then moving over to the NASDAQ here, a little better, 1.23%, really nice on the day. Pushed through this level here at 519, really strong up to 524. Filled the gap, obviously. I was hoping to get a 526 touch. We ended up not quite getting that, and then it fell after hours, just like the SPY charts with the NASDAQ. Pulled back here, we're seeing a little bit of an end of after hours rally. As long as 519 holds, we're looking for 526.50. If it touches there and rejects, that'll be bad, obviously, just like we talked about on the SPY charts. But if we can push through that next upper level, then we're looking for 530 and potentially 533, which is the high from this kind of consolidation at the end of January. So again, looks like a nice bottom, low, a slightly higher low here. Want to push through these levels back to this zone here. And then looking at the Tasty charts here on the hourly, you got that upper band as the target. That is going to be here at 526.62. So again, in line with those levels that we talked about for your targets. They are bending a little bit higher here, and I would expect that they continue to do so. Momentum stepping a little bullish. Didn't get a ton of volume on the session. You can see a little bit of consolidation here. Dip down, end of session. Want to see this continue higher towards that 526 area. I do think it's in play for tomorrow, but if it rejects from there, again, I'm going to be concerned. Moving over to the Russell and the Dow, the Russell was up 1.38%. Momentum still has not stepped higher, but the charts look amazing. After hours getting a bump, looking for 229.18. Really strong candle here, 1.38%, $3 on the day. I did buy some here. I think I bought just below 224 in here, sold the 225 call, rolled that up twice to 227 for, I think, the Thursday session. Either way here, looking for some higher highs back above the 21. Still got the 55 as your overhead resistance there, 229.29, so pretty much in line with that 229.18 level. And then looking at the Dow, slightly positive as well, about 0.25%, but we did get above 445.16. If we can hold that level, then we're looking back for the highs there around 450. Moving over to the Mag 7, the Mag 7 led markets higher a little bit, 1.5% or so. Momentum back to bullish, RSI back to bullish a little bit. We're giving some of that back after hours, about 1% of it with the Google move. So really no change. We're still in this trading range. We looked really good. I still think there's a chance we go a little higher here. We get a bit of a swing out of this, kind of cup and handle almost. But for now, we're in the middle of the range, and we'll see if there's any follow through on that earnings. We still have Amazon coming up, like I mentioned, so that could move markets a little bit. My guess is Amazon will do well, but either way, middle of the range, nothing has changed. Moving over to Apple and Microsoft. Apple actually had a good day there, 2% or so, right to the 21 EMA, back above the 230 level. So if you bought the level, you're in good shape. Looking for the 237 move. So overall, actually pretty good. Like I said, 21 EMA concerning 233.75. But if you follow my trading, you bought the 230.28 level as you got the break, and so far you're in good shape. And your take should be 237.23. And then looking at Microsoft here, you can see we're still below the level. Could have sold it on the test here at 413.36. A little bit more risky on the trade. This could go sideways choppy for a while. It's been doing it for a while, but I'm still slightly bearish, especially after their bad earnings. Bad earnings, bad everything else, pretty much. Slowing growth from Microsoft, and this is the very important level, 413.36. As long as it remains below there, I think we're a little bearish, and you can see after hours a little bit of selling. Looking at Tesla and NVIDIA, Tesla just continues to hold up really strong at this zone of consolidation here. You can see 384.29. We got a test of the level. We broke back above it. Momentum still showing a little bit of strength. RSI kind of neutral here. We've been sideways choppy for a bit. We hit this price action early December, and we're still here at the beginning of February. As long as this holds, you're in good shape. But if it doesn't, then we're probably going much, much lower. You can see there's a ton of room here to these major dynamic support levels. So if you want to take it, be fast and nimble with your stops. Otherwise, it does look okay on the short time frames. And then looking at NVIDIA, slight positive day. I wouldn't be bullish here. 1.7%, we're kind of right at the trend. If it can get above it, maybe you're looking for 124. You don't really have a level of support, at least for me. Maybe there's something in here at 115. I could see that being interesting. I just don't love it, and for me, this is a zone of resistance. You also have the highly traded zone there. Realistically, I'd be looking for 106.6 from here. But again, you don't really have a good level. Moving over to Amazon and Alphabet, these really tried to do their best. You can see Amazon up 1.9, Alphabet 2.5, and then we gave all of that back and then some on the day. Amazon selling off pretty much to the open. Still has a little bit of a gain in it, but not a great result coming off of Google. And you can see Google sitting here at 192 right now. So 207 down to 192, back into this consolidation range. Tried to break out, tried to hit the level here at 211, 212. We've been talking about that as a target. With the breakout, we got the breakout, but the earnings was not enough to sustain it. And in fact, it was quite bad here. And that resulted in a big sell of about $15. So we'll see how that shakes out tomorrow. You got some trend support here, maybe around 190. You got the 55 EMA down there as well at 188.8. Looking at transports and REITs here for a second. Transports finding a nice day, 1.5% or thereabouts. Momentum didn't step to bullish. RSI stepping towards that bullish trend, almost above the 50 line. Want to see it go a little higher. I think 71 is in play. That's about $1.10, $1.08 higher from here, which would be a nice little move. aggressive on transports, and that would be a low, higher low in here. If you see a little bit of a push, maybe you get back to this as a double top potentially in the 73 area. If transports remain strong, that means the market shouldn't be cratering at least. So you like to see that, and then you got real estate having a good day as well, finishing unchanged on the day. Remember, this is a dividend style investment, so as long as this continues to hold in this range, which I still think it's a good opportunity, anywhere between 40 and 42 is pretty good for me. When you start getting into the 43 to 45 area, that's a little bit expensive. I think you can wait for a better time, but for now, 40 to 42, good opportunity. Not a ton of downside, but still collecting those dividends. Moving over to breadth just for a second, you can see breadth held in there basically unchanged on the day, so that's good enough to keep markets in this kind of sideways consolidative, maybe slightly bullish from here. Continues to do okay. Momentum, not so much. RSI, not so much, but price action is king. And right now we are holding the levels pretty much unchanged from the previous day. Moving over to the dollar here just for a second, you can see a little bit more selling here, allowing markets to prop up a little bit. We saw the big wicks higher on the back of the tariffs being lifted, and that continued a little bit lower for the dollar. We're right now below 108. Want to see that continue a little bit lower, and if it does, that should be a little bit bullish for markets. Right now it does look a little bearish here. It is extended, but like I said, bearish. And lastly, we got the VIX. The VIX sold off right to the trend, touched the trend, and then stopped. Interesting. Is this going to be a slight bottom for the VIX, or is it going to push through back to these lows here? That remains to be seen. Right now, momentum slightly bullish. So based on that, you would expect a little bit of a spike, but this trend has kind of been chopped on a little bit. Back here, it was definitely better. And then we got the break here, not so much. Moving over to my accounts, it looks like I made about $500 on the day. You like to see it. Overall, pretty good trading session. And that includes the little bit of a down move we saw here in the Qs. So that should improve while this continues to rally just a smidgen at the end of the after hours session. Overall, made money on the call, made money on the shares. We're in good shape. Bought around 522. You can see it here. And then I rolled out and up here to 524 for $3 credit. It's in a small profit. There's about $500 left in credit on that position. So if we close out of the money, no big deal. I'll collect that money. And then looking at the Russell, like I said, I rolled out here to the 6th for 227 for $1.50 credit. This looked really strong after hours. You can see here 227.30. So it's up about 50 cents after hours or so. And that gives me a max profit of 228.60, 228.59 right in there. And if it continues to look really strong, I will continue to roll that out and up. Got to be relatively aggressive because we are right at the money and I don't want to pay too much of a debit. So we'll see. The Russell looks a little better than most of them. Let me know down in the comment section what you think of the Google earnings and the direction of markets. What are you doing in this sideways choppy? Are you looking for a little bit more up move, or are you selling this rally? Let me know. Otherwise, like and subscribe if you got any value out of this video. Make sure you hit the bell so you don't miss out on any future episodes. Of course, none of this is financial advice. This is all for entertainment purposes. Good luck in your trading and have a great day.